Good evening, everyone. Tonight I thought I'd try and show you how I'm practicing the Bach Prelude number 21 to try and feel in the groove for the rhythm. And when I can eventually get that feeling, I will be keeping it steady throughout and it'll feel comfortable. It won't feel panicky or rushed. And that's one of the benefits of practicing Bach, because Bach is color, control, and beats, and you really have to feel that pulse. If you thought of riding a merry-go-round and you think of the seat of the horse coming back up at you each time, then it just depends on what are you going to set your metronome at for that pulse, because in that piece, 4/30 seconds is 1/8, and so there's 30 seconds in a bar, and it's to practice it slowly and evenly first. So if I can feel, just as thinking chords, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, if I can surrender my arms from my shoulders so that the movement of my torso can motivate those arms to come in at the right place in the right pulse, then that you could put a metronome to that and be pretty steady. So, but it has to be perfectly steady. This is the trick. So that's why you don't want to get away from using the metronome. Now, whether you use the metronome for the 8th or the 16th or the 32nd, you have to choose that. It's going to make it that you can hear that it's definitely on the tick. So, because when it goes fast, you can say 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, and you get a real rhythm going that way. But it's to get that high note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it comes on the third 32nd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so if you think of playing tennis back and forth, as long as you can get enough energy in that part of the groove. Sometimes by not letting the key all the way up, it helps for speed. Now the next problem becomes if it's a scale passage, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 for one set. And that's an 8th. Now this is 1, 2, 3. It's a scale passage, and it's to have the wrist high enough that you can draw the finger toward you when the arm weight is released to it to drop. And you have to be able to feel that you're aligning the main arch to what you're trying to, the group of notes that you're trying to create, the even passage in. So you have to be able to feel that you're dropped in your shoulder and right through to the wrist, that you can drop in the elbow, and then that arm weight coming down, dropping down, helps to put the key down. But you need to be able to make each note distinct and clear for its full length, and that's the part that's so hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You can almost think of drinking a cup of cocoa or something that you like the taste of during the length of one of those 30-second notes. Drink, 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 drink. That drawing length of time has to be totally equal, and that's what's so hard to do. That's why you get the good old reliable metronome, and you hear it for the full length. So 1, 2, 3, 4. you're drawing for that full length of that tick, that there's an actual physical drawing with your finger toward you, that you can feel. Draw, 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 draw. Think of drawing a paintbrush toward you or something. Draw, 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 draw. The hand has to be able to turn by the forearm like turning a key in a lock. You have to be able to have that rotation to get up to the high note. If you just do it with your fingers, there's a limit to how fast you can go. You need to have the rotation, and you need to have a lining of the main arch of knuckles to the group of notes that you're going to play. So sometimes not letting the key all the way up helps, because now when you get to the scale passage, it has to be the same tempo. So this is where it's so important to use the metronome, because you'll hear tick, 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 but no thumps. You don't want to thump like that. Draw with your thumb without thumping. You're sort of scrubbing at the keys instead of being able to draw toward you. 1E and a 2E and a 3, and go slow. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E. On a merry-go-round or something, you'll feel that you've got a support underneath you in your fingers when you're playing around with pop, 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 pop. Think of juggling, you know. But get enough energy on that third 30-second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can play back from against, because you want to practice it solid. That's eighths. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. But you need a relaxed hand so that it doesn't sound harsh. And don't let it come all the way up. Just turn the key. Faster than you're hearing every note for its full length. That's the secret. And so then confirm it by using the metronome with what you're playing. whether you use the metronome to a tick of an eighth or a 16th or even a 32nd note. Because if you put it to a 32nd note, you can go pretty fast with the tempo. The tempo of this thing can be, and it's still not playing the piece fast because there's got to be 32 of those ticks per bar. But what that tempo does for you, it lets you feel the physical contact of the bottom of the key balancing your weight, your fingers being balanced on that key for the full length of that 32nd note. Then it won't get faster as long as you're listening for that. But that's what's hard. So all you have to do is drop, and the key does the rest because it's pushing back up at you for that length of that sound if the finger's firm. There, but that's the secret, is to feel contact during the full length of the note, and then it won't rush. So I hope that gives you a few ideas on practicing it. It's fun to practice. It's a beautiful piece when it goes fast, but the trick is to not try playing it too fast until you know every note is equal in length, and then just move the metronome up one tick for at 32nd notes. If it's ticking one tick per 32nd note, just move it up one tick, and it won't seem that difficult because it's only one tick faster, but you'll be holding the contact of the note for its full length still, and you'll have your ear engaged for the full length of that sound, and that's going to make it work for you. And I have to do it myself, really tremendously hard practice, serious practice doing it like that, because otherwise I can keep it pretty steady when I do 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But as soon as I get into that, it's not the same, and it's a different technique, and you've got to feel that you're listening equally, the same length on each note, whether it's the scale passage or whether it's all this rotation and buoyancy and effervescence. It's a fun piece to practice. So anyway, I hope that gives you a few ideas on it. Have a good night now. Bye-bye.